Hello there mga ka-ISUans! I am your teacher, Manifer Elcoram, your PE instructor for this semester. So, ayun na nga, panibagong semester, panibagong lessons na naman ang ating matututunan. So, sa araw na to, ano ang mga kailangan nating matutunan? Bago ang lahat, kung bago ka pa lang sa aking YouTube channel, don't forget to click subscribe para lagi kang updated sa mga videos na ina-upload ko for your lesson. So, this day, we will discuss about the different concepts of exercise. It includes the different principles of exercise and the FITT principle of exercise.
Before we proceed to the discussion of the different concepts of exercise, let me read to you the introduction of this module. According to this introduction, physical activity is essential for the development of wholesome personality of a child, which would depend upon the opportunities provided for wholesome development of the mental, physical, social, and spiritual aspects. The current coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic presents some challenges to maintaining a physically active lifestyle. For all of us, young and old, regular physical activity remains an important strategy for staying healthy. Compared to being sedentary, moderate intensity physical activity is associated with better immune function. Likewise, regular physical activity is associated with lower levels of anxiety and perceived stress. This module focuses on the health benefits of physical activity and exercise. It tells how you can keep yourself really fit. Physical activity gives you a chance to have fun, be with friends and family, enjoy the outdoors, and improve fitness so you can more easily participate in additional physical activity or sporting events. If you are more active, you feel more energetic and healthier. Let us differentiate physical activity and exercise. Physical activity is a movement carried out by the skeletal muscles that requires energy. Different types of physical activity can vary by ease or intensity. Physical activity is essential to health and confers wide-ranging health benefits, but exercise is necessary to significantly improve physical fitness. Examples of physical activity include walking to and from school, taking the stairs instead of elevators and escalators, gardening, doing household chores, dancing, and washing the car by hand. Physical activity, by contrast, implies a level of activity that is lower than that required to maintain good health. On the other hand, exercise is a type of physical activity that requires planned, structured, and repetitive bodily movement to improve our or maintain one or more components of physical fitness. Examples of exercise are walking, running, cycling, aerobics, swimming, and strength training. Exercise is usually viewed as an activity that requires a vigorous intensity effort. Improving your performance is not just about training more. Competitors need to follow a carefully planned training program, and this program must be systematic and take into account the demands of the activity and the needs, preferences, and abilities of the performer. There are a number of principles that performers and coaches must follow if they are to fulfill their full potential. Before creating a principle of training program, all training programs must consider the individual needs of the performer. Before designing a training program, you need to ask the following questions about the individual. What is their initial level of fitness? How old are they? Are they male or female? Why do they want to train? And what is their aim or motivation? The answers for the following questions will help you to tailor the training program to the individual needs and abilities of the performer.
Principle of exercise can be easily memorized through this mnemonic. And what is this mnemonic? It is called the SPORT. It stands for S, specificity, P, progression, O, overload, R, reversibility, and for the last letter, it's letter T, it's tedium. So that's the easiest way for you to master the principles of exercise.
Let us proceed to the first principle of exercise. It is specificity. According to this principle, you must do specific types of activity to improve specific parts of the body in a specific way. For example, if you're training for a weightlifting competition, it's no use going swimming every day. What you need to do is you need to concentrate on strength training for your arms and your legs. According to specificity, you need to train specifically to develop the right muscles, the right type of fitness, and the right skill. For example, if your sport requires a lot of running, work mainly on your legs. If you need strength, speed, stamina, or combination, you do type of exercises that will strengthen these fitness components. And if you need to practice any relevant skills like kicking, serving, and passing, then definitely you must do different lead-up games that will enhance your skills. But remember that specific individuals respond differently to the same exercises due to different or individual differences. But then, training may need to be adapted to suit the needs of these different participants. Let us proceed to the next principle, and this principle is overload. Fitness can only be improved by training more than you normally do. So, if it is the normal thing you are doing, then you should double or triple the normal thing you are doing in exercise. Unless the body is subjected to increased demands, improvements in physical fitness will not be made. If a physical fitness program is to be effective, it must place increased and specific demands on the body. If training levels remains the same, then the program will only be maintaining the participant's level of fitness and not improving it. Remember that you can train too much. There are 4 ways to achieve overload in an exercise program. They can be easily remembered using the mnemonic FIPT.
FIPT principle of exercise stands for F, the frequency, how often you do the exercise. Intensity, how hard you should do the exercise. Time, how long are you going to do the exercise. And for the last letter, T, the type. What type of exercise are you going to do?
Frequency, how often you should train depends on what you wish to achieve. The National Institute for Health and Clinical Excellence suggests that to maintain health, you should do 30 minutes of moderate exercise 5 times a week. However, if you wish to become an intermediate or elite competitor in any sport, you will need to train much more frequently. For example, elite rowers often train twice a day, and training is best done regularly rather than at random intervals. For the intensity, we have to deal with these 2 following terms. It is the aerobic respiration and the anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means respiration with oxygen. When exercise is not too fast and at a constant, steady rate, and the heart can keep the muscles fully supplied with oxygen, then it is anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration means respiration without oxygen. If the exercise is fast or intense and then in short bursts, the heart can only supply oxygen to the muscles as fast as the cells are using it. That is what is happening in anaerobic respiration. Just like what I have said, intensity refers to how hard you work during your training sessions. Now, a good way to measure intensity is to monitor a performer's heart rate. The harder you work, the faster your heart beats. Heart rate can indicate which energy system is being used. Now, the question is, how are we going to identify that heart rate? In order to train the correct energy system, you need to calculate your maximum heart rate or the MHR. Your maximum heart rate is the fastest that your heart can beat. It depends on your age and can be estimated using the following formula. And the formula is your maximum heart rate is equal to 220 subtract to your age. Using the formula, try to calculate the following maximum heart rate of a 16-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 53-year-old, a 67-year-old. Now, what was your answer? Heart rate is measured in beats per minute. Maximum heart rates can be shown through this graph. As you can see on the graph, as we get older, our maximum heart rate gets lower. Now, let's talk about the time. Intensity will affect the time or the duration of each training session. The length of session required to achieve improvement depends on how hard a performer is training. To achieve improvements in aerobic fitness, you should aim to spend at least 20 minutes per session in the target zone. However, time will vary greatly depending on the activity the performer is training for. If they are training for a marathon, they may need to spend several hours at a time in the aerobic zone. For example, a sprinter on the other hand will need to spend relatively little time actually exercising. Their sessions are likely to consist of many short, high-intensity bursts with lengthy rest in between. Let us proceed to the type of exercise. Let's take this as an example. If your aim is simple health-related fitness, then the type of exercise you do does not matter very much. It just needs to raise your pulse into the aerobic zone for about 20 minutes. You could even include activities like gardening, walking the dog, or just dancing around your kitchen. However, if you are training for a specific event or competition, then the type of exercise you do is very important. Overload can be achieved by changing the type of exercise. For example, if you could lift the same weight but in a different way and using different muscles, then that's the type of exercise you are doing. Now, what about the principle reversibility? Unfortunately, most of the adaptations which result from training are reversible. This simply means that unless you keep training, any fitness gains will be lost. Fitness will be lost if the training load is reduced, meaning overload is not achieved, or if a performer stops training, for example, if they are injured. So therefore, coaches need to ensure that long periods of inactivity are avoided when possible, because endurance can be lost in a third of the time it took to achieve. Strength declines more slowly, but lack of exercise will still cause muscles to wither, and that is what we call as muscle atrophy. Now, what about the principle of exercise, which is the tedium? When planning a training program, it is important to vary the training a bit to prevent performers becoming bored. If every training session is the same, a performer can lose enthusiasm and motivation for training. So what are you going to do? You should include a variety of different training methods or vary the type of activity. Now, the question is, why can it sometimes be difficult to avoid tedium while obeying the first principle, specificity? Kasi nga, sabi ni specificity, you must do specific types of exercise in order to improve specific muscles, specific type of fitness, and specific skills. But then, ang sabi naman ni tedium, you must do or include a variety of different trainings to avoid boredom. So, paano ngayon yon? I will wait for your answers next meeting that we will conduct our virtual class. Now, let us proceed to the next principle of exercise, and this is progression. Progression means gradually increasing the amount of exercise you do. So, when a performer first starts exercising, their levels of fitness may be poor. But then, if a coach increases the training too quickly, the body will not have time to adapt, and this may result in injury. So, slow and steady progress is the best way forward. For example, if you were training for a 10-kilometer run, you might start by going for 2 to 30 minutes runs a week. But then, you could then increase the time you run by 3 minutes each week. So, gradually increasing the frequency, intensity, and the duration of fitness sessions is an important factor in developing an effective training program. So, in terms of type of training, progression should be based on the principle of moving from easy activities to the difficult ones. Before we end, let's take into consideration this term. And this term is what we call moderation. Moderation means achieving a balance between not training enough and overtraining. So, achieving the right balance is very important. Without proper rest and recovery time, performers can become too tired to train effectively and become stressed and irritable. Even worse, overtraining can lead to injury. This can occur through overstressing joints and tissues or through poor technique resulting from exhaustion.
So those are the different concepts of exercise. See you next meeting when we discuss about aerobics and non-aerobics exercise. That's all for today. See you on my next video. Bye-bye!